My name's Bonnie Pacaud, and I'm Judy's younger sister. Judy has two other sisters. Judy's the oldest in our family. My mom was a single parent, and Jude doesn't use words to communicate. So Judy was, there wasn't a lot of support and services in Lethbridge at that time. She was born in 1949, so it was a time when there wasn't a lot of things available. The doctors kept recommending to my mom, pushing my mom to put her into Michener Centre. At the time, they thought that it was the best place for people like Judy. And so my mom did not want that to happen, but finally, at the age of 11, she decided that she could not take care of Judy and us two other girls. So she did give in to the doctors, and she put Judy into Michener Centre at the age of 11. It was just kind of explained to us that she was going to go to this school, this place where she would be better, there would be better things for her to do, more support and more training for her. There would be an educational program there and that kind of thing, we were told, which never happened. But yeah, we all thought it would be really good for her. We were happy for her. In reality, it turned out to be one of the biggest nightmares of her life. She never ever adjusted to living in Michener Centre. She hated it there. Well, when a person's in Michener Centre, what happened with my mom is that she signed over guardianship. So, basically, and I think that was a requirement back then, that you sign over guardianship when someone goes into Michener. Mm-hmm. So so anything that happened, the public guardian's office had the final say on things. So my mom could express concerns, but they weren't really ever, I don't think, taken into consideration. So the family's input, in my way of looking at it, was never really taken into account. I started to try and get Jude out of Michener in the 80s, and it was not something that was easy to do. The social services at the time, there wasn't, again, services in Lethbridge for Jude. So social services at the time kept saying, well, when a service comes available, we'll consider Jude for that service. But what had to happen is that a residential and a vocational service had to come together at the same time. This would be a miraculous event that would happen. And that never happened because people in the community were always deemed to have more need than the people that lived in Michener Centre. People that lived in Michener Centre were considered to be having a good service, and so didn't need to come to the community as much as people that lived at home and they needed services. So I think it was 1984, I was approached by the Lethbridge Association for the Mentally Retarded, was the name of it back then, to get involved with a pilot project to attach funding to people that were living in institutions. And finally, Jude was able to move out of Michener Centre in 1986 with this funding. So that was a really big day for Jude and for us, to get her out of Michener Centre and to be able to bring her back to Lethbridge. We had to start up some agencies that would help her with her staffing when she was living in her home. We had to start up an agency that would help her with her daytime activities, and we started up a brokerage agency in order to get this, to get the Jude and the 9 other people from Michener out. So when Jude went into Michener, she was 11 years old, as I said, and when she went in there was about 2,500 people that lived there in Michener Centre. When she was 17, they gave her a hysterectomy. They sterilized her at the age of 17. And they did not give her any hormone replacement therapy, of course, at that time either. So it was very, very difficult for her. The medical treatment that Jude received in Michener Centre, and I'm sure a lot of other people, was just terrible. They just did not get the kind of medical care that they needed, and it was just almost sometimes experimental, you thought. They were just doing things that they were trying out to see if they would work for the average citizen. So, and when Jude was 24, they pulled all her teeth out. And the reason that they did that again was because she was very, very upset with living in Michener Centre, and she was quite self-abusive, and she used to bite herself. So, instead of working with her biting issue, the problem that she was having with biting, they just pulled all her teeth, and did not give her any dentures, didn't put any dentures in, of course. They just kind of left her without any teeth and having to cope with that. So that was pretty difficult as well for her. We all knew that Jude bit herself. She had lots of scars. She was just very, very unhappy there, and didn't have any other way to express her unhappiness. So because the Public Guardian's Office was making these kind of decisions, it wasn't something that the family had any say in either. So these kind of things they just happened to people, unfortunately. When she first came out of Michener Centre, she was still very, very self-abusive. She's not self-abusive anymore, thank heavens. But still, even if you mention the word Michener Centre to her, she's upset for at least 2 days afterwards. She just is so... has taken such an emotional toll on her. I think that they need to be shut down. There is no place in our society for institutions. People should not be, just because they happen to have a disability, shut away somewhere, away from society. There's no absolute reason. Why would we need a place like that when all we need to do is to find better ways to support people in community? Put the money that they're putting into institutions into great supports in the community, and let people choose themselves what kind of supports they want to have, and where they want to live, and who they want to live with. So we really are trying to help her at this stage. She's 58, so she's really lived a long life and lots of experiences, and she's got a lot to teach us. She's a very resilient person, very strong-willed. She's just a wonderful example of how people can overcome these kind of difficulties in their lives. She teaches me so much every day.